During development, many different animations were attempted for the civil protection officers. However, many of the various attempts didn't seem to fit them very well. It was then decided to give them a bullying personality by putting a touch of swagger in their step and having them lead with their chest as they walk. They also let their stun batons do the talking, so they always have one in hand. These small hints through body language are why players can recognize a Metro Cop's personality without much in the way of facial or vocal cues.
Vortigoths are one of the few alien species to make the jump from Half-Life 1 into the world of Half-Life 2. Unlike barnacles and headcrabs, however, they are now allies of the player, who had freed their race with the defeat of the Nihilith. They now lend their mastery of electrical energy to the forces of the rebellion. They fight for their freedom in hopes of not returning to their history of servitude.
Guess those sirens are for you, huh? Good thing you found us. You're not the first to come through here by
This is the Freeman. The Combine's reckoning has come.
Look, we're just a lookout for the Underground Railroad. Main station's right around the corner. They'll get you started on the right foot. Meanwhile, let my Vortigaunt friend here give you a jolt to get you going.
That is all we can spare.
Be careful now. We really can't afford to get noticed. Civil protection catches you down here, it's bad news for the whole railroad.
We serve the same history.
Citizen reminder.
The canals are populated with many small but dense and frequent details. This design choice allows for details within details. Anything from some ammo to a zombie to a skull in the mud can be hidden there, rewarding exploration and adding richness to the world.
Valve tries to stay fresh by bucking certain trends and doing things in their own unique and original style. Part of their inspiration for doing so was a gaming journalism site named Old Man Murray, which would often review games based on their originality and make fun of games that they felt lacked it. One cliché Valve tried to avoid was the first-person shooter trend of having crates and boxes strewn across its environments. However, after worrying about it for quite a while, they eventually gave in, as it proved to be a habit that was too hard to break. They threw themselves on the mercy of the court, and one of the first things that players will see is a crate.
Often, Valve prefers to introduce new enemies in a safe environment so that the player can observe their behavior prior to engaging them in battle. However, the Manhack's attack strategy relies on attacking a human target, which makes this difficult. Here, instead of having the player watch from afar, they are instead thrust into battle alongside a companion that they can observe. He is almost always attacked before the player, and the fact that he grabs a nearby pipe is a clear indicator that melee weapons are ideal when combating Manhack.
That was a close call. Thanks for your help.
NPCs require a lot of resources, including textures, animations, combat AI, algorithms to move their eyes, and multiple sound files full of dialogue. All of these things have to be managed by the engine when a character is on the map, so it's good practice to remove characters after they have served their purpose so that these resources don't have to be maintained anymore. If these characters were simply deleted from the map after characters progressed past their area, most players wouldn't notice. However, if someone were to backtrack, he or she would find it to be immersion breaking to find a character suddenly missing. This is why if you were to turn back from here and go to the room where you first encountered Manhacks, you'd find the character dead with another Manhack hovering over his head. This stays within the fiction of City 17 and effectively frees up engine resources. The same happens with many other one-off characters throughout the game.
Biological weapons known as head crab canisters are used by the Combine to indirectly fight the Resistance, clearing out their bases and ensuring that they cannot be repopulated. The player was once to visit the place from where these canisters were fired, and while this was cut from the final game, it was likely the inspiration for Half-Life 2 Lost Coast. The canisters themselves are most likely a retooling of the cut enemy known as the sack tick. It was planned to be a macro virus that was also to be delivered in a missile-like pod. It was to be used to soften up enemy positions, weakening them prior to a combine attack.
Hey, Dr. Freeman. I've been hoping you'd show up. Got this airboat all gassed up and ready to go. It's gonna be tough dodging
The
civil
Resistance-built
protection out there in the
airboat
open,
marks the
but
first time in the
drive
Half-Life
hard and
series
you'll
that the
make
player
it.
was able to freely
You'll find more
pilot a
help up at
vehicle.
Station
It was
7.
originally to be
Just
a
a few
jet
bends
ski,
up the
however
river.
playtesting
It's
made
the
some
old red
obvious
barn.
flaws apparent. Driving the jet ski
Climb on
felt
in,
too much like
fire up.
walking, and it was often hard to tell which way the vehicle was facing relative to the player. Once it was replaced with the airboat, known around Valve as the Mudskipper, the driving style felt
Go ahead
right,
and get in the boat,
the roll
Dr.
cage
Freeman.
gave the player a good reference as to the craft's orientation.